Okay, so if you're building a startup and you're looking at having funding for your business consistently, this video is for you. I'm going to share with you one strategy that you can use to consistently fund your startup business. Or maybe you're an entrepreneur, you already have a business, you're not building a product, maybe you offer a service and you need funding for your business. This video is for you. The essence of this video is how can you build a sustainable, how can you build a successful startup that is self-funding, self-sufficient, right? And I'm going to share with you how, just a little bit, how you can attract investors if you are open to taking funding from investors. You don't have to be like us that are not interested in taking funding from investors. So if you're open to taking funding from investors, yes, this strategy will still work for you to attract investors to come to you instead of you going looking for investors. Yes, like I always say, right? And I tell people, maybe you've watched my previous videos where I said it. There are always two sides to life. It's just the fact there is up and then there is down. There's black, there's white. There's front, there is back. There's right and there is left. There's good and there is bad. All right. There are always two sides. So if one side, as regards to raising funding, is going to pitch to investors, seeking investors, well, logic tells me and basic principle of life tells me that there is the other side of having the investors coming to pitch to me, having investors seeking me instead of me going to seeking them. Unfortunately, in this world I will live in, or in the entrepreneurial space right now, the speculations and then the ideology out there and everything is that you have to go seeking investors and all. In actual sense, the investors need you more than you need them. Did you get that? I'll say that again. The investors need you more than you need them. Because why do they need you more than you need them? Simply because they are after ROI, return on investment. And the only way they can get ROI is when they put their money into work. So now you become the tool that they use to make their money generate ROI for them, return on investment. Now, if you say no, it becomes difficult for them to get ROI because now they can't put their money into work as a tool, right? But yes, because you're a startup founder, you're vulnerable, you want to build a business and all of that, you take on venture capital funds, you take on an investors fund, and you end up being sold out. What actually happens is I know people don't like when I talk about these things because I'm just revealing this whole thing about funding and all, which is cool. I mean, I'm not against taking funding. Honestly, I'm not. But I just believe that there's a right time that you as a startup entrepreneur or as a startup founder should take funding. So the fact is the moment you take funding from investors, you have become an employee to the investor. Even if the investor have 20% equity in your company or even 15%, you have become an employee of the investor. Yes, there's nothing exactly wrong with that because yes, apart from taking funding, the investors, brings in his network of influence and all of that that you have access to, and they put you on stages, put you here and there and all. Well, let me tell you the fact. The reason why you have access to the investors network, in the case of a VC, why you have access to their network, is not because they like you, it's not because they care about you, it's because of their investment in you. They are giving you all of those accesses and leverage so that you can use those leverage to build your business faster and so that they can exit the business. What is exit in this case? Like I mentioned in my previous videos, selling the business to a bigger corporation, to a private equity company like us. We will buy the business. And guess what? When we buy the business, you know what happens? The investors, the VC, makes a lot of money and leaves you, the founder, almost stranded with just a little profit, something to get by. Reason is because you've taken upfront payment when you took the investors' funding. Yes, they paid you upfront. You know, that's why you see so many startup founders. I mean, this is what entices so many startup founders out there. They raise money and they're excited about it, and then you hear this guy who was living in just a very small condo has moved into living in a mansion in Dubai, flying on private jets and doing all of this stuff because he has raised $15 million or maybe $20 million, as the case may be. And the investors are there like, okay, do your thing, but build a business. And when you build a business and then they exit the business, you'll be like, well, we gave you $15 million, you raised $15 million and all of that. So now we're taking our own return on investment. And the fact is, every VC is always, at least at a very minimum, 100x their investment in any startup, right? So that being said, and that's gotten out of the way, how do you build a self-sustaining and sufficient startup without seeking investment from investors or venture capitalists, VC firms, as the case may be, or without even having your business acquired by us, a private equity company, right? So good. And I'm sharing all of this. I mean, I know this is literally contrary to what we do as a private equity company because we should be acquiring startup businesses and all of that, but we have chosen to let this information out just to liberate entrepreneurs, right? But if you're still interested to sell your business, it's okay. Just drop a comment or contact us with any of the link in the description, and of course we'll probably get in touch with you, right? Of course we're open to acquiring businesses. Okay, that out of the way, how do you build a startup that funds itself sufficiently? Now, there's only one way that we know how you can do this successfully and effectively, because this is the same way that ClickFunnels used, is the same way we're using, is the same way several other companies that have even reached a unicorn. This is the same way they've done it. And guess what? It's a lot even much easier now because of technology. So I'll just jump into it so that I don't, So the way is you create a fundraising machine. Yes, a fundraising machine. Because the fact is, every business is need funding, and that's the fact. So you can't grow a business without funds. It's a fact, which is why, yes, I get it. Startup founders want to pitch to investors and get funded and all of that and all. But statistics has clearly shown us that out of 100% of startups who pitch to investors, only 5 to 10 gets funded. So the question is, what happens to the remaining 90? Oh, yeah. The fact is, most of those 90 ends up folding up, like completely dying in the first 5 to 10 years of their business because of lack of fund. So if you're in that 90%, oh, hold on. Even the 5 to 10% that gets funding from startups, from VCs, from investors, they still end up dying in the first 5 to 10 years. I mean, they end up going out of business in the first 5 to 10 years of their business, even with the fund. Now, the thing is this: funding does not keep your business alive, but building a self fundraising system, a fundraising machine, could keep your business alive. Why? What is the difference? The difference is because one, you go through the process of building your own fundraising system, your own funding machine or fundraising machine. The other one is you take on investors fund, which means you cut the corners, right? The foundation is not strong, the root is not well dipped into the soil. So when storm comes, it moves the tree, leaves the tree off the ground, and then the tree is gone, right? It's dead. So the question is, why this method? Maybe it's more tougher, more challenging. Well, if you see either way, maybe because you're not doing it right. Now, let me get into it properly. Now, the fact is, with in the case of ClickFunnels, right? What ClickFunnels did is when they were developing their own product. I mean, ClickFunnels is owned by Russell Brunson and Todd Dickinson. So when they were developing their own product, which is the ClickFunnels product itself, the software, what was Russell doing? Russell was literally raising money. Yes, you heard me right. He was raising money. Now, he was raising money not by pitching to investors, seeking investors, or taking on loans. They created a fundraising machine. And what was this fundraising machine they did? They created a course and a coaching program. These two strategy was what they used in raising funds consistently, faster than even pitching to an investor. You heard me right. Faster than pitching to an investor. So every week, I mean 3 or 4 times every week, Wilson Bronson was literally selling courses. He was selling programs. He was selling coaching programs. Most of the time, he was literally just selling courses because with courses, he doesn't have to bother about delivery. It's an automation, right? Some to make automation system. So he kept on doing this over and over again. And each time he sells, sometimes he makes $30,000, sometimes 25, sometimes 50,000, sometimes 100,000. And this was how they kept on raising funds. That was a fundraising system or machine for them. They kept on raising funds till they were able to raise funds to build a business, their software, rather, their product, the ClickFunnels product, launched it, got in new customers, and guess what? They kept on using the same fundraising machine system up till this very day to grow the business. And currently, the business is valued is oh my god, the business is currently valued. Did I say valued? The business is currently valued at a minimum of $200 million in ARR, annual recurring revenue. That's what they're currently doing in the company. Fully bootstrapped. Yes, you heard me. Bootstrapped. Fully 100% bootstrapped using the fundraising system or the self-funding machine. And that's what they did. Right? And you can do the same thing. Or maybe, okay, you're not cool with creating a course or creating a coaching program or a mastermind, then create a service. Offer a service. Now, the strategy here is not about creating a course, creating a coaching program, or creating a service or a product. The thing here is create something that solves a problem for a premium market and have the premium market pay you high ticket in return. It's as simple as that. What do I mean? For example, use identify a problem in a premium market, a pool of market that is premium, and then you create a solution, not an MVP, not a prototype, a real solution that solves the problem or a pain point for that premium market and have the premium market pay you high ticket in return. So, for example, we created a $32,000 offer. I mean, for you, you can create a 25K offer, right? And with your 25K offer, if you want to raise $1 million, you probably say your 25K offer to 100 persons, right? To 100 premium clients, and they pay you 25K, and you've reached $1 million in revenue. Yeah, I get it. Talk is cheaper. Talk is cheap. Action is what? How they say it. Yeah, it's easier said than done. I get it. But this is what we're doing. And I'm telling you, like right now, this is what we are doing. It is what ClickFunnels have done. It's what several other companies are doing. And you might think it's difficult. Well, I'm not saying it's easy, but you might think it's impossible, but it's doable because that's what people are doing. That is exactly what people are doing. So for you, you might think it's difficult because you don't know the strategy to do it. So if you're not doing it, it's not because it is hard, it's because you do not know how it is done. If you think raising $1 million is impossible without pitching to an investor or taking funding from VCs or whatever the case may be, is because you do not know how it is done. Am I saying it's easy? No, I'm not saying it's easy because honestly, it requires work. I mean, trust me, it requires work. It requires you to learn some stuff, do some stuff that would certainly not be comfortable by you, right? In terms of, I mean legal stuff, right? Legal stuff. Like, for example, creating content is part of it. Creating content, speaking to people, right? Providing value, creating offers, all of those things, it might be hard for you, yes, but it's not impossible because people are doing it. We are doing it. So what I have done is I have simplified all of these processes into three major secrets. Everything I talked about in terms of raising funds, set funding or sufficient funding to grow your startup business without pitching to investor, even if you want to raise 100K or you want to raise $1 million in your pre-seed or in your seed funding or in your series A or your series B, whatever level or stage that you're in your fundraising. Now I've simplified this over into three secret. Now this Sunday I'm sharing those three secrets. Now this secret will literally help you create your own self-funding system, your fundraising machine that you can use to always raise funds for your startup. And trust me, that's what you want to do, because when you do this, what you're literally going to be doing is you're going to be unconsciously attracting investors to you, because when you are self-funding sufficiently, you're self-funding your business sufficiently, and you're talking about how you're doing it like I am doing it right now. You're talking about how you're doing it, you're sharing your successes, your challenges, and all of that. Investors are going to be drawn to you. Like, if this guy could literally bootstrap his business without taking on outside investment, it means that this is a good soil to invest our funds in. I mean, because all of the objections and all of the worries, the risk, he has taken all of either way. So why don't we put our fund in here? Remember what I told you at the beginning? Investors are looking for where to put in their funds so that they can get return on investment. And the one thing that every investor is looking for is a good soil. What is a good soil? A startup founder and a startup business that has taken away all of the risk of investment, right? And when you do it this way, you've literally taken out all of the risk, and they will be more than happy to invest in your business. And that's when they come to you and tell you, we want to put money in your business. They try to convince you. And this is what the bank do as well. They come pitching at you because your business is doing well. They come pitching at you to give you loan, tell you why you need the loan and all. They are the one pitching at you. In the case of ClickFunnels, this is when Russell Brunson and Todd Dickerson, right? And the team, and told them, you guys need this fund. Don't worry, take this fund. And Russell Brunson told them, no, we don't need it. We honestly don't need it. Like, true story. So if you think it's impossible for investors to come pitch to you, I'm sorry, it's not impossible. It is very, very possible, because it's happening, right? So you haven't seen it or heard about it doesn't mean it's not happening. It is happening. Like I said, there are always two sides to a coin. There's left and there's right. There's up, there's down, there's front, there's back, there's black, there's white. So if there are people who are pitching to investors for investment, trust me, there are people that investors are pitching in to. There are people that investors are pitching to so that the investors can invest their money in their business, right? Because the investors are in the game of making profits. And what investors do are literally bootstrapping. They're taking what they have, invest it into something to get what they need. That's what bootstrapping is about. Take what you have, put it to work to get what you need. That's bootstrapping. So investors are bootstrapping. So why shouldn't you bootstrap? Anyway, I hope you find value. This Sunday, I'm hosting a live session where I will explain the three secrets that you can use to build your own fundraising machine or your own fundraising system that will consistently fund your business practically, regardless of how much you want to raise and when you want to raise. And the fact is, and the good thing about this system is that you don't have to give out equity, you still own control, and you can decide to give out equity whenever you choose to. And even when you give out equity, you will still remain in control, because now you don't need their funds. You probably are giving out equity or taking funding because you need their network, right? So this Sunday, I'm hosting a live section, right? And where I'm sharing this. So if you just look at the description below, you find the link to the live session. You can go there, register for free, and I'll see you this Sunday. Thank you for taking out time to watch this video. I hope you've gotten some value, and do please, if you like this content, and comment like this, because I talk about investment, bootstrapping, self-funding, raising funds, and all of that, right? If you want more videos like this, all you need to do is subscribe and share this video to other startup entrepreneurs. Let's bring them together. Let's help ourselves. Let's liberate startup entrepreneurs from all of the troubles and all of the issues out there that is holding us down, limiting us from succeeding. Now, the goal is to build a unicorn, and certainly it is possible without taking on outside investment if you choose not to. Right. So, thank you for taking our time to watch this video. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.